such as the roads, the airports, seaports, railways, power and energy, the utilities, education, healthcare, and social care. We also have the ICT, and of course there's the mass housing unit that form part of infrastructure system. These are just images of infrastructure development you could easily observe in Lagos State. That is the Eco Pan-Atlantic Center, ongoing development in that area. That is the concept of the railway transportation system, and that is His Excellency, the Governor, inspecting the completed project. So let's ask, what is infrastructure? Infrastructure is the construction of basic foundational services in order to stimulate economic growth and quality of life improvement. And this infrastructure affects growth through several supply and demand side channels. Investment in energy, telecommunication, transport networks directly impact growth, as all types of infrastructure represent an essential input in production of goods and services. So, as the topic implies, we have to look at what community is. We can all argue or understand as it is that there is various definitions for community. Right now, having one single definition is not an ideal thing to have. But a community can in this case, can be a group of people that share the same interests. And in this case, they share the same location, geography, and they have the same geography and interest. For infrastructure in the community, it impacts, an instance of where it impacts the community, you could see like the policy implemented by the federal government. These are the years it was implemented, and those are the bodies that were charged with the responsibility to carry out the policies. Direct employment policies on infrastructure development. So I was just pointing this so that we would know that community could not just be your local village gathering. The world as it is, when you have infrastructure connecting everybody, it becomes a global village or a global community. These are federal housing estate projects that the federal government, federal housing authorities are working on. These projects are being embarked on with a combination of various individuals, private bodies, private entities, and professionals. There are considerations where we as professionals could look into how we can tap into opportunities like this. Just like the commissioner spoke yesterday, which he spoke very well, Acen could look at how we can come to the table to provide solutions, energy management, building designs, economy, and all of that into infrastructure development. This invariably affects our life, the life of the community, and everybody involved. So direct labor project is prominent in most countries, and usually is described as a delivery process where the design, the planning, procurement of resources, construction of a project using client-employed supervisory staff and labor. This system is regarded as an in-house because client staff are used, which is different from having a contractor carrying out all the contracts. So what can we do to make sure that most of our projects as being done are channeled or geared towards direct labor projects? Can we trust this direct labor for implementation? From a local setting, The Delta State Direct Labor has set up an agency, which is Direct Labor Agency. And you could see them to your left. They have their uniform, equipment, tools, carrying out road reconstruction work. And to your right, this is Agugu Fishing Festival venue, where they were being troubled by flood, and the youth come out directly to implement construction or reconstruction of this. So we as professionals, we can go beyond something like this and look for ways we can actually get the government, engage with the government to produce more sustainable, more impactful projects. The traditional and direct labor projects, they are, if we look at it thoroughly, they are bound by these project drivers, which are time, cost, performance, and quality. You also look at safety, security. So most direct labor projects, which is what so many countries, our country is arguing for, it help with creating employment for the youth, creating trainings for the people, participants, direct laborers. It helps with I want to go to roles of client in direct labor. An effective direct labor project put the client in decision making, as we said, and is involved in appointing the project drivers, who it does the site studies, does the capital expenditure analysis, it develops a project strategy, the client manages the project tendering phase, the bill of material, procurement, and all of that, insurance requirement for the project. He appoints procurement manager, he appoints construction managers, and manages project execution through all the phases of the project. And it is common for all our projects that you have a construction procurement system, have this system all through, where you have from the development stages, pre-tender, tender negotiation, through to the execution and warranty period of the project. This project, as it is, we as professionals could build this, implement this into a project where we could speak in favor of any direct project, the direct labor project. The challenge with direct labor projects usually is time and cost. Usually this overshoot, but it's not common to direct labor project. As we can see, in this next slide. So direct labor project, for samples of projects that were looked at by some research done, you could see that time and cost is a challenge to both direct labor and traditional method projects, which is not just a direct labor problem. So how can we look towards getting direct labor project to be how can we get towards using direct labor project in our system? So there are lots of ways we can look at that. First, it's not just by the labor itself. Just as we know, every project has two phases, which are more like the material cost and the labor cost. The material cost usually in project makes up a 75 to, about 75% of the total project cost, whereas labor makes up about the 25% of the project cost. So that material cost, we could look at how we could ensure that these material costs are brought down, or alternatively, the foreign exchange requirement for these material costs are reduced so that these materials could be procured locally. We can tax ourselves in things like this. just as was discussed yesterday, some of research done by some notable engineers in the aspect of bitumen, but that is one aspect. If we look at housing infrastructure, for instance, there are a lot of material in housing construction that are foreign sourced. How can we look at ways we can bring this foreign sourced material? For mechanical engineers, we have all the ductings, all the equipment. Well, pumps and plants and chillers could be high-end, but we could go from the basic materials, from ductings, pipe materials, and all what have we. How can we make sure we fabricate this material locally to cut down these demands on foreign exchange? And the same way, employing a lot of our local engineers in doing so. So these are considerations we should also we have to have in mind. So just as we saw above, the direct labor, it leads to cost overrun, but it's common to direct and traditional labor. The challenges of implementing direct labor in large size project is that it lacks proper coordination. But we are professionals, we can work through this when proper planning are done. There lack of inadequate control because you have a lot of people without a group leader. They could just do as they like. But this also could be coordinated, and with all of this in place, direct labor can be more something that can easily be implemented in project execution. So as we have seen from the foregoing, from so far, cost and time overrun in both direct labor and traditional labor projects. It costs more to execute a project using traditional project method, especially for large-scale projects. Time overrun are more in direct labor, and these are not only due to planning, but also due to lack of equipment and delays due to subcontractors' work. Professionals should be involved in planning, design, estimating, monitoring, and commissioning of this project. This way, a lot of these challenges on time and cost could be managed. In the spirit of nationalism, direct labor must be promoted to success. All workers should be skillfully trained, encouraged to own their aspect of work. This can be done by, the training is one aspect. The other aspect is giving them incentives and making them believe that they own the work. When workers believe they own the work, they don't have the chance to misbehave on the work they do. According to the federal military government in 1986, direct labor system was preferred due to security reasons. There are some projects that, as we all know, the federal government would not want, of course you don't want a neighboring country or neighboring community or neighboring to know the details of the project you are working in, because its impact on is like exposing the security blueprints of the community. With recent challenges with Forex, a direct labor guarantees that there are reduced dependency on foreign currency for payments of goods and services. So with all that was said so far, I hope we pick up the points and the advantages which are there for direct labor projects. Obviously, it is hard as it stands now to describe what kind of projects, how we run our project, whether they're direct or traditional. Mostly, there is always a mix of both. But looking towards direct labor projects, I'm sure it's going to do this association good, do the country good, and do the nation good as a whole. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Engineer Agbo. That was a wonderful presentation. Thank you very much. And you said you hope we were able to pick a few points, and then, so I'm here to put those points together. So Engineer Agbo started by giving us a brief explanation of what infrastructure development system is, and then gave a definition of infrastructure development, and thereafter defined community as a group of people living in the same environment or having a particular characteristics in common. Then Engineer Agbo thereafter got into the major topic, which is community involvement in infrastructure development, using direct labor projects as a case study. He explained the concept of direct labor in construction as work done by employees that contributes to producing products or providing services. He mentioned that direct labor is involved by authority commissioning the works and not by contractors. Then he went to project drivers and boundaries. He talked about project drivers and boundaries and mentioned project managers as the key project drivers, who is in the best position to advise clients on the best route to achieve project delivery, and stated that direct labor would present the best advantage where the client chooses to decide on time, cost, quality, security, and safety of the project. He talked about the roles of clients on direct labor projects also. He talked about construction procurement system and also gave an analytical comparison between direct labor and traditional labor projects, showing cost and time overrun. He then concluded that professionals should be involved in the planning, design, estimate, monitoring, and commissioning of projects. Then he referenced Federal Military Law Government 1986 from his presentation, which says direct labor can eliminate some security challenges on projects. And lastly, he said due to the recent challenges with Forex, from his presentation, he said direct labor guarantees that there are reduced dependency on foreign currency. I hope I'm right with the points. So those are the few points I was able to pick from your presentations. And it's time for further contributions and questions.
Good morning, President, Mr. Chairman, and every other colleagues here present. Engineer Luma Sharafaddin is my name. I would have loved the presenter to let us know the impact of direct labor on employment. That's going to definitely throw some people out of jobs, and in a country that is even one of the main source of insecurity. So getting those that are already employed doing the job again by themselves, number one, it derails them away from their core duty within their establishment. Number two, it prevents others that are not having the job outside from getting jobs to do. That's my own observation, and if perhaps you can speak to this, how it impacts on employment. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So I think
Engineer Wale Lagmuju. Thank you, Engineer Agbo, for your beautiful presentation. Direct labor, when we look at it, direct labor is a situation where when you have communities, they desire to have a project, and they look maybe at the cost of maybe engaging different professionals even to be able to provide their services and decide to, okay, let's see how we can do it on our own. And even at that, it will appear that it is cheaper, but I tell you that on the long run, it is more expensive. Why? Because these people that we are talking about that engage in direct labor, they do not have the requisite experience, the capabilities, and all that requires even for that to be done. And this direct labor we have observed. Engineer Sharafa maybe did not want to hit the nail on the head, that there are some state ministries that they do this, what we call this direct labor. And in the process, they are edging out consultants, edging out contractors who are able to provide these services very, very professionally and give them durable infrastructure. At the end of the day, is fraught with a lot of fraudulent acts. They set out giving the impression that it is cheaper, and they discredit consultants and contractors, even from their principals, to be able to get the, to do direct labor. But at the end of the day, it's that they are hiring equipment here and there. And who they hire the equipment, of course, they don't have the equipment. So they hire the equipment here and there. And what is that requisite professional experience that they have to be able to do it? At times, they even go to the extent that they want to do design. And they end up using Google Map even to do design. Without going, oh yes, we see a lot of that, you know. So I want us to be very careful about the direct labor. Direct labor is good for community projects, rural areas. And even at that, should be supervised by somebody, maybe a retired superintendent of work somewhere, maybe to guide them. Maybe they don't want to do some community or rural roads and things like that, you just do that. But direct labor, we must be very, very careful. People are taking it to an extent that is affecting even our own practice, and is affecting the quality. At the end of the day, it's much more expensive because they will do that direct labor, give it 2 or 3 years, the project has disappeared, and you now have to do it all over again. So there must be a balance. There's a need to strike a balance when we are talking about this direct labor. Let it be limited to rural roads, rural projects. Thank you.
I must commend your opinion, sirs. And I respect the aspect where you say we must strike a balance. Just as from some points in my presentation where I mentioned that professionals must be employed for the design, the planning, and monitoring to some extent. It's not, for rural areas, I agree, the implication is limited to them. They can manage and have their own rules and regulations and how to implement that. For large-scale projects, it's always something of caution, whether to use a direct labor or traditional labor. You have to be very cautious in that regard, and I agree with you, sir. However, the first question, which was talking about direct labor effects on employment, there are always ways about this, because the direct labor is not taking anybody's chance to get a job. Rather, it's actually direct labor for a community creates a need that they must have to, say, housing or power or ICT for their experience or for the availability of their resources. They could choose to do what they can do. In rural areas, they build rural houses, and it works for them. But when it comes to ICT, they can do local roads, as we saw in some of the pictures. It works for them for rural communities and rural roads. But when they have to connect cities, and they have heavy-duty vehicles moving across these roads, or they have to do railways, it goes beyond their capabilities. It goes beyond their skills. So there are always a balance. And for professionals that have the required experience, when their skills are called to use, they'll always be available to use that to supply that. Thank you very much, sir.
Well, if I may just make some comments, I think it is a bold topic, talking to consultants recommending direct labor. It is almost like saying, okay, we are there. But I believe that direct labor, you cannot even avoid it in some occasions. I remember the PWDs of those days. I mean, those are all that needed is to make sure that you have competent people that will direct the direct labors. In some organizations like Rotary, they lay emphasis on doing it direct labor. So what you have is that you have a carpenter or somebody that is engineering. You will get a carpenter, get bricklayers, get painters and coordinate it. I think the issue is there is a need for coordination, so that and there is a need for somebody who is technically knowledgeable to supervise the direct labor. For companies that are about dying, for people that are about dying, and they wanted to do something, to get them to do direct labor may not be a problem. I mean, may even save their life and save work tomorrow. So I think I like the topics. I like our go for picking up a topic that is virtually against the current of the people on the whole. Well done. Thank you very much.
So, okay. Do we still have any contribution? Okay. Huh? I thought so too.
Thank you. Thank you very much. My name is Doyin Obikoye, and in direct labor, let's look at it from the point of view of a recessed economy, because right now, I know there's a lot of challenges with regards to project executions in various forms, and how can we really direct labor to benefit us in the light of the challenges we have in our economy as of today. You know, I understand that if we're going to use direct labor, for instance, in the construction of a building, you must still have one person who is so competent to be able to lead and direct them, because I think it should not shortchange standards, it should not shortchange specifications. The whole essence is that we want to drive down the cost of execution, especially with labor, and we want to cut off the middlemen sales in the purchase of equipment. So in a recessed economy like we are experiencing today, how can direct labor be of benefit to us as professionals in the industry? Thank you.
So that you take it all together. Mine is actually a little bit more general, not necessarily only on direct labor, but just to say that I think one thing that your paper, which was well presented, but it came across as if, one, you are trying to preach it to us, and of course, I'm sure you know that you are talking with some. There are some who are even in this room who are even dinosaurs, and they've lived it maybe 2 generations past. And then secondly, I think you, as a paper, you need to sometimes not try to give the impression as it's just a solution, but really be a bit more like the balance you now started talking about. But taking what my dear sister here said, I think that would have been a wonderful opportunity to recognize that this is happening and there are the options. In fact, from last dinner, you have 2 options. Those who didn't come for the dinner will not even understand this one. But as I said, taking from her, I would have loved just for us to look at realizing that whether we like it or not, whether we deal here and agree it or not, this will happen. Direct labor is going to happen in a majority of cases. So rather than just treating it as one, I think it would have been nice to actually have looked at what level of project, and then even then, with the small ones that we talk about, what are the things that can be put in place to mitigate the dangers of this direct labor? Because the biggest one, you talked about cost, time overrun. The biggest one is quality. It is quality, because when in direct labor, you're just going to the corner of Allen Avenue and picking artisans. There's no continuity. You don't know what their skills levels are. And even the industry itself does not benefit much, because it's like a football team. You don't put, you go and get players just for that match. And then, as against putting them together, they start to learn and progress. So I think that's one thing that could have been very, very, a great opportunity. And I think it's still possible that you can actually now go a step further and actually say, what do we as consulting engineers think is the best way, bearing in mind what my sister said. Cost is so important. People don't want to spend that extra whatever percentage to give a contractor, but what needs to be put in place. And then finally, and I know I'm going to be found equally guilty of that, time for these sessions has been very, very trying. Let's just put it that way. Maybe the organizers will later on go back and reduce the number, I don't know, but I think the chairing of the session has somehow replaced the lecture itself, because we've been getting a lot of, which shows that the chairmen were listening. But I think it's been giving us two lectures per. So I think I can get, I've got value for my registration fee. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ibrahim Kau from ProXL Civil Engineers. My view is that at the level of Acen, we should be talking about available guidelines. Are there available standards to refer to when you want to deploy this kind of contract administration? Are there existing guidelines? If there are not, then we should be looking at establishing such guidelines, such that if there is need to deploy this kind of contract administration, then we have the standards of achieving it. So this is my humble opinion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So that should be the last question, because we need to be time conscious now. So.
Okay, taking from the last, which is not the least, available guidelines. In reality, this is from what I've checked and I've seen so far. It is a lot of people, a lot of countries in the world are pushing for this for several reasons. They are pushing for this, and they have not seen anyone available. And I would recommend, if we can, as Acen, as a society, if we can look towards that, as you mentioned. Yeah. So the other one, In a resource economy, how can we use direct labor? So part of my presentation was listing that a project, as we know it, is partly materials and partly labor, which materials has a larger share of most of the project. And most of this, unfortunately, Nigeria as it stands, we are a great consumer, which means a lot of our materials are foreign sourced. Even the raw materials go out there and come back as finished product for us to use in any useful form. So we could look into this aspect on how we can bring the production, the manufacturing of this material to our environment. So that creates a lot of employment, creates a lot of opportunities. It brings down, if possible, with available infrastructure like power, ICT, and transportation, it cuts down the cost of these materials. So we don't have it producing it here, and it's way more expensive than what you can easily bring from somewhere else. So we can look at options of cutting down cost of material. In addition, labor. Well, we know that in developing economies, labor is easily gotten out there. Maybe because the quality is low, but the wages are actually affordable too as well. So labor is not the issue bordering on cost. Material is the issue bordering on cost. And our dependency on foreign exchange as it stands, if we can produce our material here, our dependency on foreign exchange will reduce greatly. And that is what we should actually all be looking at in an individual time as individuals and as collective bodies. On getting these laborers or labor, we don't actually recommend you go to a street or under the bridge to pick up a laborer. It's community involvement that we are talking about. A community that wants to develop a housing unit, affordable housing unit for all its youths or its citizens, would essentially engage the youth in building those affordable housing. There are cases you have read where youth of age grade get together, build houses for themselves until all of them is done. Well, thank you very much.
So now we have come to the end of the session, and I'll be handing over to the president, sir.
I'm handing over to the matron of the future leaders. So
Okay, I think we have a question from one of our participants online, and we would like to quickly address that in just 1 minute. The biggest weakness of direct labor project delivery, in my mind, is the absence of contractual relationship between various parties in the project delivery value chain. If consultancy services agreement, for instance, is missing, how will ethical issues, for instance, be managed? Engineer Agbo, do you get the question? Right.
So ethics is a challenge everywhere, but with training, as we mentioned before, and also making sure that the direct labor involved in the project, they have a sense of ownership of the project. So that's why we are talking of community involvement. It's not like you are meeting a group of people you are just meeting for the first time and you never meet them again. It's a community involvement usually. So if we take Lagos State to be our community and we decided in these building industries, this is what we are going to do, everybody knows who, and they can be able to hold anybody accountable for the work you do, whatever you have done so far. So taking it to a lower level of community, maybe in rural areas, it's like a man no man area where everybody can stand, talk about the other person. So usually ethics is not usually a challenge in these places. Yeah. But in addition, there are professionals that could guide them all through. Professionals to monitor, supervise, and watch the execution and coordinate. So ethics would be eliminated in that with that monitoring and supervision.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, future leaders. Please, can we put our hands together for them? Thank you. You know, right now it's getting tougher and tougher in this recessed digital economy to get future leaders anywhere. The millennials, we're looking for them. And this engineering is too tough. Everybody wants to do something quick. You know, so the ones that we have, I think we should appreciate them properly. And can you just do that one more time? Thank you. Okay, so we would like to invite our Acen president, Engineer F. Ajibade, okay, FNSE, for the presentation of awards to our future leaders. Thank you, sir.
Engineer Agbo, please come over. This time not to present, not to be prosecuted, but to be gratified. It's a good job. And like we said, it was something that will solicit quite a lot of questions, which it did. In fact, we tried to stop on the 3, then there was a 4th, and there was a 5th, then there was somebody again online. So, and you have done well. So, thank you very much. On behalf of the Association for Consulting Engineering in Nigeria, I'd like to thank you for the presentation, and to please give you this plaque as a token for your contribution to this AGM. Thank you. Excuse me. A bully is a bully. Very good. Are you kidding also? Thank you. Kule. That is encouraging. Thank you. The future leader, Engineer Adebayo Ademola, please approach us here. Anyway, you are very tall. You don't need any support. So, you have done very well, and this is what we think the future is all about. You picked up the chairmanship. You actually, like the treasurer said, you made complete explicit presentation of what has been presented. And that made us know it more. Yeah, so you're a future leader, you're a leader, and the future is here. So on behalf of Association for Consulting Engineering in Nigeria, we present to you, you are the master of yourself, Dextacom and Associate Engineers. As Associate Chairman, thank you very much for taking very active interest.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, future leaders. We still have one more activity for the future leaders. We want to introduce the steering committee. I think this group of steering committee has been here for a long time. So if they want to introduce new members now, then I think they have tried. Let's give them a round of applause as we invite Engineer Olayinka Olanipekun, our Acen Future Leader President.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. It's my absolute pleasure to stand before you today, which is the second day of Acen's annual general meeting for the year 2022. Before all things said and done, I do wish to express my gratitude to God, the giver of all things good, who has loaded us with benefits of today and has counted us worthy to be here and alive. I stand on all existing protocols today, but I still want to acknowledge the presence of Acen President, Engineer Badi Oke, FNSE, and other dignitaries present. I acknowledge the presence of every future leader seated here too. I stand here as the president of Acen Future Leaders Forum and a representative of young engineers in member firms of Acen. The Future Leaders Forum, which was formerly known as Young Professional Forum, has come a long way from its inception in 2011. One of its key objectives is to promote and encourage the development of young professionals in the consulting engineering industry. The membership eligibility for Future Leaders Forum is open to any young engineer whose firm is a member of Acen. The vision is to provide a unified voice for young professionals throughout the consulting engineering community through a variety of forums, events, and communication mechanisms. The mission is to promote active participation by young professionals serving in Acen member firms nationwide, and to ensure that their collective voices brings about impact in different areas of our profession. Under the leadership of Engineer Segun Adetunji, the Graduate Awareness Program called GAP and the Graduate Internship Program called GIP were started. The GAP was to create awareness of consulting engineering from the university level to make undergraduates aware of what consulting engineering is all about. The GIP aimed to create a platform for the infusion of graduates into the engineering consulting industry in an environment where oil and gas, telecom, IT, and even banking seem more attractive and are known industries for our young engineering graduates. The impact of the graduate internship program was witnessed at the Future Leaders session at FIDIC Africa Conference 2022 held in Lagos, Nigeria, where 9 university undergraduates from all over the nation, out of about 70 participants in a design competition, were awarded cash prizes from 50,000 to 100,000, and then given an internship attachment to Acen member firms. We intend to make that a frequent event. The tenure of the present executives is rounding up, and to that effect, a call for nomination of interested future leaders into a steering committee was made. And today, the members of that committee are being introduced to Acen as they will form the bane of the next executives of Acen Future Leaders Forum. I'd like to call the names of the members of the committee while they please come outside, and their profiles will just be flashed on the screen for us to see. Please, when you hear your name, if you are available, some are available online, the others are here physically. Engineer Wadid Adeshina Nelson, please come out. Come. Engineer Ibrahim Abdul Kadir Kawu, if you're here, please come out. Engineer Timothy Adekeye, if you are here, please step out. Engineer Lawal Afiz Okweyemi. Engineer Daniel Olumuyiwa. Engineer Chiamaka Olatunji, she's online. She's also here too. Yeah. Engineer Chiamaka Olatunji is shown, but she's online. She's also joining. Engineer Felix Nwanko, if you're here, please step out. Engineer Temitope Akimbulire, if you are here, please come out. Engineer Demola Adebayo, please, if you are here, you can also come out. Thank you. Then finally, we have Engineer Elizabeth Olaogun. We present to you today the Acen Future Leaders Steering Committee. They will form the bane of the next executives for future leaders for Acen. It is our prayer that they will take Acen Future Leaders Forum to an unprecedented height, as even we members of the outgoing executives will still be working with them to this end. Thank you all for being present, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Engineer. Thank you very much, Engineer Olanipekun. I think it's just proper for the steering committee members to introduce themselves and their respective firms. Okay. After which, it's been requested that the Acen President, Engineer F. Ajibade, should please join for group picture. Thank you.
Just your name, your firm.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Engineer Timothy Adekeye. I work with Yolas Consultants Limited.
Good morning, everyone. I am Temitope Akiblire, and I work with Morcard Associates.
I'm Engineer Deba Ademola. I work with Dexter and Associates.
I am Nelson Obuadi. I work with Europe and Partners Nigeria Limited. Thank you.
I am Ibrahim Abdul Qadir Kawu, ProXL Civil Engineers Limited. Thank you.
Sir, would kindly request your presence as we take pictures with them, sir.
Thank you very much. I would like to, we have had to tweak our agenda a bit, so because we're still waiting for our guest speaker. So we have rearranged some things, so you might just not see us following the order. So right now, I'd like to invite our Acen Managing Director, Engineer Sunday Kalejaye, to present the Continued Professional Development Award. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please permit me also to recognize the presence of one of our past presidents. I think he came in during the session. Engineer Bayo Adeola, you're welcome, sir. Okay. I also like to invite with me the head of department, or let me put it better, the program and training manager of Acen, who actually will tell us about the CPD, the background, and how the computations were done to arrive at the respective winners. So I will offer her the support.
Good morning, everyone. The Continued Professional Development Points Award Scheme is one that ensures that our member firms take training very seriously. It would include personal training as well as training of engineers in the firms, the various firms. This would be thinking about training, just in normal workshops, seminars, conferences like this. And then, of course, the business evenings that we have, the EGM and the AGM. These are some of the activities, that we would always compute CPD points from. And Acen member firms have been divided into 6 categories according to the number of the number of engineers in each of the firms. And so this determines the size of the firm. And so each category has a winner, except the 6th one, which is the largest, that we don't have a member firm in. And so first of all, let me say thank you to all member firms who have participated in the 2022 Acen calendar of activities. And I would like to also congratulate the 6 firms that have won awards this year. For the 3rd category, we have 2 winners. There was a tie. And so right now, I would like to start with the first category, firm size having 1 to 3 engineers in number. And this goes to Jojo and Partners.
For this category, please permit me to invite the Honorable Treasurer of Acen, Engineer Kunle Adebajo, to please present the award. Congratulations to Jojo and Partners.
When they called the treasurer, you may have thought there would be money coming as well. But I think what we are giving you here is much more than money. The award of recognition to Jojo and Partners. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I should say keep it up. Congratulations.
Okay. The award for the 2nd category, 4 to 10 engineers, firm size, goes to Anchor Boots Engineering Limited. Congratulations.
For this award,
I'd like to invite our distinguished past president, Engineer I.S. Ogunbayo, to please present the award.
Engineer Shetima, I want to congratulate you on this achievement and this award. I look forward to two things: future awards and growth in your practice. Congratulations.
Okay. For category 3, 11 to 20, we have a tie. CA Consultants Limited and Vason's Concept Consultant Limited. So we'd like to have CA Consultants first. Yes, please. CA Consultants Limited. Congratulations.
Our past presidents are always with us, and they have never shown tiredness. To this extent, I'd like to invite Engineer Bayo Adeola to please present the awards in this category.
There are two of them, sir. Okay, there are two of them. Now, it's always interesting when I'm standing with this, my younger brother. When I had Jojo, I was happy. And when I had Anchor Boot, I was happy. I said the new ones are taking over the old brigade. Then as the scale went up and I had this old brigade, so Jojo and Anchor Boot, we have to take them out next year. Congratulations. Thank you, sir. Where is the flag? Greetings to the boss. Well, he says he's the boss. So greetings to the chairman.
And the second one goes to Vason's Concept Consultants Limited.
They are even older than the rest of us. Vason has been here forever. And the fact that they have continued to grow strong, we're glad for them. But Jojo and Akabut have to take you guys out. Congratulations. You are refreshed. You are always set to go. Okay, so they're challenged. So greetings to Engineer Yenuga and congratulations.
To the fourth category, 21 to 40 category, we have Comprehensive Project Management Services Limited, CPMS.
So how do we do that? At this juncture, I'd like to invite the president, Engineer F. Ajibadeoke, FNSC.
Who is CPMS? Can CPMS please come over? Well, if they don't come, I will appoint somebody to be CPMS. Can I now appoint our chairman, CPMS chairman, to approach the bench will disappear. Well, you preached that people should take over. I'm preaching you should not rest on your earth, so that let us have even a healthy competition at the top level. I know you are standing lost now because you are not even the managing director of CPMS. But don't worry, if they do, and we haven't seen anybody representing, and we have the chairman here. God knows I have the power to call the chairman to come and do what he should do. So, on behalf of no, I know what I'm talking about, and I know what you talked about just about 5 minutes ago. I'm repeating the same thing because it's the same exam, it's the same answer. So I copy whatever you say. Same to you, sir.
A call for copy.
And for the last category, 41 to 60 engineers, we have Prime Tech Design and Engineering Nigeria Limited. Okay. I know they are online, so there's no representative here.
I'll represent them. Okay. Past President George C. Okoroma stepped out, and then, in as much as we have to move on, can I kindly invite a distinguished member of the council in person of Engineer Wale Lagunju to kindly present the award.
Congratulations, Prime Tech Design and Engineering Nigeria Limited. This is award of recognition honoring your organization, the MD standing in the gap, even for the organization, is a recognition of your dedicated service and commitment to continue professional development in the practice of consulting engineering, presented at the 44th Annual Conference, AGM and Dinner of 2022. Congratulations.
We had a confirmation about 10 minutes ago. The guest speaker for Lekki Port, our technical session for today, is actually on the way. But so that we do not lose more time, we have now proposed to have the tea break. The tea break actually was scheduled for 9:40 to 10 a.m. And then after the tea break, if we still do not have him here yet, we will proceed with one of the two AGMs lined up for today, specifically the one for Acen Endowment Foundation. The trustees have proposed that for that AGM, we're not going to take much of your time. It's just to give some feedbacks. So, so we can actually proceed to for the tea break now. So I'd like to call on Mr. President, distinguished presidents and council members to please lead the way, while all delegates then follow. Thank you.
firm. If one person has introduced himself as representing your firm, please, the other person should skip. I'm sure a paper is being passed around for everybody to write his name and the firm on that paper for our record purposes. So I will start right away with our president, who happens to be in front. He will introduce himself and his firm. A roving mic, but while we wait for the roving mic, please, your voice is loud enough. Let us just go on.
Oh, yes, I think my voice is louder than the roving mic.
Yes.
I am Adibale Adibale. I represent Chibok Engineering Limited, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing engineers.
Thank you. Next person, we go down the row, down the row. Okay. Maybe it's I'm standing diagonally, so I don't know where I belong. Okay, thank you. Column, yes.
My name is Omar Bello Fatima, and I'm representing FEMAC Associates Limited.
FEMAC Associates. Thank you. Next.
My name is Chris Ene. I'm representing the Project Design Consultants Limited.
Thank you. Project Design Consultants Limited. Next.
My name is Engineer Broderick Akara. I'm representing Optima Design Associate Nigeria Limited.
Thank you. Next.
Dr. Lord Salus is my name, representing Elden Engineering Limited.
Thank you, sir.
Engineer Ibrahim Abdulkadir Kawu, representing Pro XL Civil Engineers Limited.
Thank you, sir.
Tayo Olufemi is the name, representing BSDCL.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Saka Akim, representing ECMC Engineers.
Thank you.
My name is Abdul Fattah Issa Akonde, representing Avas Engineering.
Thank you. From the back there, yeah?
My name is Ajibola Olukoni, representing.
My name is Engineer Julius Olurinyola from Rojo Nigeria Limited. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oluwole Ali of CA Consultants.
Kunle Adebajo, representing Novarop and Partners Nigeria Limited.
I'm Salim Bukar, representing Sani Mustafa and Associate.
Thank you. Engineer Eddie Atumoyogo, representing African Consulting Engineering and Management Partnership Limited.
Engineer Emmanuel Akinwole, representing AKW Engineering Limited.
Ken Adebara from Unicon Associates.
Amaru Ajoyi John, representing McLevi Projects Limited.
MB Shetima is my name, representing Ankabut Engineering Limited.
Tony Wobo is my name, representing Osfos Nigeria Limited.
Yeah, Adejimi Taufik Adiola is my name, representing AVN Global Limited.
My name is Engineer Abdul Salam Shuaibu, representing Standard Electros Engineering Services Limited.
My name is Felix Chiku, representing Ame Consulting Engineering Limited.
My name is Lawal Afiz Okpeyemi, representing Automated Geotechnics Limited.
Bello Ridwan, representing Project Plus Potential.
Adeshino Hadedotun, representing McLevi Projects Limited.
Fasonya Damlola, representing McLevi Projects Limited.
Oladapo Badaru, representing Kedek Associates Limited.
Yes, sir.
Peter Chivu, Vastrop Nigeria Limited.
Engineer Lois Adeyemo from
I know that they, but they should come and present it, not us.
Normally the seats in the floor, but just to confirm we are here. Yes. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Have you identified them? Check it out.
Why would they change around? So that's
no problem. No quant. TV by should give some clarification. When will you do it? Here in 1 hour's time. There's no point. No, if the direction is far. What we are saying is there's no point. We have timing.
No, let him go on. Let him go on with the audio. Let him go on with the audio, and then if he comes, he can take over personally. If he doesn't, then we finish off with the audio. That is.
He will be here in about 1 hour from now. That's what I'm saying.
So, Bubu is actually.
Are you saying that you think people? What was scheduled?
So what I'm saying is that this AGM,
me,
it would be nice if we can wait until about 1 hour 30 minutes. Not 3 hours, not whatever. If we don't do that, when it comes in, we have to sit down back and do it.
We only do what is best. Well, let me take them one by one. The minutes will not be endorsed until it is passed. It's a clean copy that is endorsed. The same thing with the accounts. When it is adopted, that is the time it will be endorsed. So that you don't endorse and start correcting. Right? But the audited account by the auditor is still on its way. So that one has been signed because we can't change it here. It's a report. It's a financial report. Yes, AKW.
My President of the House, minutes of any meeting is a legal document, the little I know. It is the secretary at this time who wrote it, who compiled it, who is responsible for any mistakes, typographical or whatever, has responsibility to sign it, and that's what I've been used to. But the chairman, until it is adopted, that is when the chairman has authority to sign, presented and adopted. But writing it, somebody has to take responsibility for the errors and the mistakes in law. And that is why the secretary always.
Then he will just present the technical something and we close. So any correction on page 1, which I don't read, I've not read it. Page 2. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5. Page 6. Page 7. And the final page, page 8. The list of attendants are on page 9, 10, and 11. So I pause a little bit for any correction on those on the list. I haven't seen any hands up. I learned that there was a hand, that a hand went up and came down rapidly.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. It's on page 11,
Yes.
the attendance list, the online attendees. I think I joined online, and my name is not there.
And your name is also not in the physical?
Yes.
Okay.
Page 11, online. Engineer Dr. Lowell Salisu.
Okay. Sorry, the name again?
Engineer Dr. Lowell Salisu. Elden Engineering Limited.
Okay, that will be corrected.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
On page 7.
I think the first thing is that what was actually recorded? If it is, then we adopt it. When we get to it, then we correct it if there's a need to.
No, but I thought, well, yes, I'd be surprised if that is what was.
Well,
because
I
the arithmetic doesn't work.
I don't have an answer yet.
Hold on. Okay, thank you, sir.
So, is that the correcting the minutes?
Yeah, the meeting, the report is being corrected.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
it's
Are you sure?
Eh?
What is the bracket?
Bracket is a loss. No, because the revenue was more than the expenditure in here. So I think what he's saying is that we are possibly put them all the way around. That's what the MD says. It's a correction, sir.
It's a correct.
It's a correction. It's a loss. It's a correction. What has happened, sir, is that the expenditure figure was supposed to be the revenue figure, and the revenue figure, the expenditure figure. So that is what has been.
Yes.
So revenue is 115,96, and expenditure was 116.
Yes. Correct.
No, they reported the loss.
This correction.
They reported the loss.
It's correct.
They reported the loss. It's the writing that was wrong. Pardon? That's the correct one. Yes. Okay, subject to the correction. Can somebody move motion for the adoption of the minutes?
Calculated at this meeting, and we will do that for the next 2 weeks to ensure that it gets to nooks and crannies of this nation for targeted people. Advocacy as reported. Book of Projects, now renamed Consulting Engineering in Nigeria. Thank you. Acen Future Leaders, as reported. Relationship with other professional bodies, as reported. Acen and current council. Yes, as reported, but I'm sure there will be more on this from MD's report and possibly President's address at this meeting. Item 06.10, investiture of the reported. Acen Consortium Committee, as reported. 06.12, EcoPace review, as reported. The only addition also is that the vice chairman of that committee just a moment ago gave an update, and then he also pleaded for necessary responses from members. Thank you. Abuja Land Development Committee, as reported. Further updates is that the committee has been meeting, and then quite a number of efforts have been put in place, and I think this will still come up as we progress in the meeting. Acen Endowment Foundation, as reported. And it is also expected that this meeting there will be further updates, especially from the Office of the President of the Association. FIDIC Africa Infrastructure Conference, as reported. FIDIC Infrastructure Conference. Well, it's as reported, but also there will be further updates based on the developments with the September 2022 conference in Geneva. Acen Business Evening, as reported. Financial reports.
The MD. So, the next item is the President address. Should I go to the podium? Should I go to the podium? Should I go to the podium? Thank you. My address to the third.
This is supposed to be attached to your report. This is the report of the BOT review.
Should I read it aloud?
Yes, after this.
To the 44th AGM held on Thursday, 3rd of November. I welcome you all to the 2022 Annual General Meeting of our association, and I congratulate the new members and assure them of our commitment to the welfare of their business. I thank all the council. So far, we shall accomplish our set objectives for the upliftment of the association. I would like to thank those who have put on their best for the success of the association between January to date, through committee works and participation in our activities. And I think I can say we receive quite a very robust cooperation. I want to talk briefly about what we have done in the past 10 months. The managing director will give more details where necessary. I will also highlight some policy thrusts and plans of the future. We envision Acen to become the #1 advisor to government and private sector for sustainable resilience design, project planning, financing, supervisions, and liaising. Acen on current council, successful sitting president of our association continues to represent her on current council in line with the decision of the council at the meeting of May 30, 2019. The president activities. Apart from representing Acen on current council seats, other engagements are members committee on engineering regulation (ARM) for current, member committee on registration of firms for current, member committee on investigating panel collapse building, which actually was a building on what my IPP engineer Okuruma started. We paid courtesy visits to Lagos State Governor, Minister of Water Resources, Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, MD, CEO of Pharma, management team of ITB to solicit for sponsorship of the 2022 FIDIC Africa Infrastructural Conference that was held from 15th to 17th May in Lagos, hosted by Acen. The visitation led by the president, included the LOC chairman, Engineer Charles Yele Akindayomi. The courtesy visit to the Minister of Water Resources, Engineer Suleiman H. Adamu, to appreciate his assistance in ensuring that 4.97 hectares of land was allocated to Acen in Abuja through the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory. The visitation was led by President, by me, included the IPP, Engineer George Stisonvio, on the Appropriation Act 2022 at NAV Conference Center in Abuja on the 12th of April. I was also attending all the current council committee meetings, especially the one that was held 6th to 10th of June. I attended the first business evening in Maiduguri. Was attended by the president and MD, and it was quite a good success. I attended the 2022 Academy of Engineering annual lectures, the investiture of 12th president, conferment of Life Achievement Awards, and induction of new fellowship on Thursday, June 23rd. The managing director and I attended a business meeting with the management of Vitapol, a division of Vitafoam, on the occasions of the commissioning a new factory in Mushin area of Lagos. We had a tour of the factory, and I can say that this has endeared to them. They now take active participation in our activities. I was present at the EGM, naturally. I was also at the current 30th Engineering Assembly held in the ICC Abuja on the 10th of August. There I presented a paper on consulting engineering practice at the family forum of the Assembly. I attended the American Society of Civil Engineers Nigeria International Conference with the current president. It's on the invitation of the current president, actually. And I attended the engineering investigating panel of current committee meetings once at least. This was on the 21st story building collapse. And the paper that we used actually was the paper presented by our IPP, Engineer George Okuruma, or his panel.
Back. Oh. So thank you very much, Mr. Gune, for being here. And thank you also for accepting to talk to us about the Lekki Free Trade project. Many of us are interested in seeing what is happening. And I'm going to ask all of us to please listen carefully. The honor that we can do to Mr. Gune is to listen to him attentively as he makes this presentation. So, Mr. Gundele, let me just read his brief bio. Mr. Gundele is an environmental management professional and has had more than 10 years of experience in technically oriented projects, including environmental and social impact assessment, management plans. His area of expertise in the field of environmental includes, but it's not limited to, compliance to IFC performance standards and World Bank EHA, that's health and safety, environmental health and safety guidelines. He joined the Lekki Free Trade Zone Enterprise in 2010 and has been saddled with the responsibility of ensuring that the Lekki port is built and delivered in an environmentally friendly manner. And I must congratulate you that I understand that 2 days ago, the port was handed over to the owner. So let us welcome Mr. Ogunde as he gives us his talk on the port.
God bless you for the thank you, sir. Good afternoon. Let me stand on existing protocol. I appreciate the fact that I have many consulting engineers eagerly waiting to hear about Lekki Port project. And like it has been mentioned of me, I am not an engineer, but I'm very, very honored and I'm happy to be in your midst for a singular reason. Without consulting engineers, we wouldn't have a project like Lekki Port. So permit me to quickly go straight without wasting much of our time. Now I'm going to run a 2-minute video of the project so that we can all have a synopsis of how the project looks like. Audio, please. Okay, what is currently being shown on this screen is the phase 1 of the project. The project is divided into 2 phases, and what we have done at the moment is to split it into 2. We have completed the phase 1, and the project has been handed over, like we were told, to the owner, which is Lekki Port. So this is just like a video representation of how a vessel filled with cargoes is being piloted by tugboat into the port itself. And the project is going to have 3 container berths, 3 liquid berths, and 1
terminal tank farm. The turning circle will have a diameter of 600 meters, which will be sufficient to handle 18,000 TEU container vessels. Nigerian Ports Authority will provide all marine services. Their pilots and tugboats will ensure a safe and secure approach of vessels to the port and mooring to their berth. equipped with the latest superpost Panamax, ship-to-shore crane. Welcome to Lekki Port. Located in Lagos, Nigeria, the heart of West Africa. Lekki Port is being developed in Lagos State within the Lagos Free Zone. The new deep seaport is located approximately 65 kilometers to the east of Lagos and is easily accessible by the Lagos-Ekpe Expressway and well connected through other expressways to service other parts of Nigeria. Upon completion, the port will be one of the deepest in West Africa. Phase 1 of this multi-purpose port will have a container terminal covering an area of 50 hectares with 2 container berths and a total capacity of 1.2 million TEUs annually. Upon completion of the final phase, the container terminal will be expanded to a total of 3 berths, a dry bulk and general cargo terminal with 1 berth, and a liquid bulk terminal with 3 berths. The approach channel is 9.6 kilometers long and has a navigation depth of 16.5 meters. The main breakwater is 2 kilometers long and will accommodate 3 jetties, servicing liquid bulk vessels up to 160,000 DWT. A pipe corridor
Two caps. They are the contractor, and they are also part of the shareholder. And our project management consultant is Louis Berger, which is a world-known project management consultant. Now, the economic impact of our project, within this 45 years period of construction, we are expected to have $361 billion over the 45 years concession period. So when you look at this project just about 2 days ago, where the handing over ceremony was done. So what we have left is what we refer to as operational readiness, whereby the hardware and the software are being tested. So this will be done by our terminal operator, LFT. So for the next 3 months now, we'll be doing what we refer to as a trial process of all the equipment that we have on site. The marine services, as has been stated in the video, will be handled by Nigerian Port Authority, which includes the pilot, the tugboat, the mooring boat, and also maintenance dredging. Our operating systems are to be provided by Lekki Freeport Terminal, popularly known as CMA CGM. Then the equipment has been delivered by ZPMC. Again, ZPMC is a renowned institution when it comes to the production of ship-to-shore crane. Then custom and other agents will be available for the operational runnings of the port in every day. The construction status. Now, when we started this project, the area was completely green. So after clearing and some other environmental pre-works that has been done, starting with the EIA, Environmental Impact Assessment, these are some of the things that that has been done. I purposely put these slides on the stage because if I just come here to say, okay, we are through, I needed to bring it back to what were the things that were done on the project. Like the first one is the key wall. What we are seeing on the left side of the screen is the key wall section, and the foundations are piles. And please pardon me here if I don't speak anything correctly. Please pardon me. So we have a tubular piles, and in between these tubular piles, we have sheet piles. Now I can tell us that the front key wall, these tubular piles in terms of width, they are about 2.3 meters in diameter, and the length is 43 meters. So, and these tubular piles were driven down for us to have a foundation where the key will be resting on. The picture on the right shows the breakwater. For the breakwater, what we did is to bring in igneous rock from quarry. Quarry is along Ibadan. And these rocks are in 4 stages. We have the quarry run, which are the smallest gradation. Then we have the under layer. Then we have the armor layer. Then we have the X block, which is a patent product of Delta Marine. So the picture on the right shows the construction of the breakwater. And for the left, some of our the construction of the buildings at the foundation stages is what we have at these down pictures. And the ditches is what we have on the right. But what I can say about this project, even myself not being an engineer, it has given all of us that work on the project a bit of insight into the engineering processes, from the design stage to the execution stages. Because as I'm speaking with you, for the production of the tubular piles, we were quite amazed because everything was done right there on site. Everything that we needed was produced right there on site. So this also gave an opportunity for the locals to see some of these things being done. Like for the tubular piles, I think when they were doing it, they mentioned something like helical welding, which is not so common here. So, and I ensured, being an environmental person, that every workers in that section, we have about 50% of locals working with them, so that they can also acquire these experiences that only comes once in a lifetime. Now, on the left-hand side, what is happening over there is the dynamic compaction of the old area. For the first phase, we used about 50 hectares of land, and these 50 hectares were dynamically compacted to increase the bearing capacity of the soil. And I was told that this is one of the best methods you can use, because I was also fortunate to go to DP World in Dubai, and I asked questions about, okay, on the processes, and they also used this dynamic compaction to increase the bearing capacity. And like to the right, we have the precast concrete sewage manholes, and all these, like I mentioned, were done in the site. Down below is the stockpile of tie rods. For our key area, that's the key wall side, we have the frontal roll of tubular piles, then we have the middle, then we have the back end. These tie rods are the ones that connect the front and the back pile together, and they did some tensioning and the rest. I don't want to go into details of this. And this is the production of the tubular piles that occurred in site. Now, this also showed the construction stages of our sewage treatment plant. Everything that we are seeing here has been in their final stages, and this was what I was mentioning earlier. This is the middle roll of the tubular piles. The frontal piles, sorry, this is the back end, and this is the front. From here, we can see the tubular piles. Then in between, there is a sheet pile. I think they call it a combi wall, something like that. Yeah. And the pile driving is what we see on the left. So this is what, when you come to our site, this is what you are likely to see, you are going to see now. The first picture is the administrative building, and the next to it is the labor arrival building. This building will house all the 8 agents that has been mandated by the federal government to be in charge of port operations. And the picture that is for the substation 3 building. We have 3 of these substation buildings that are going to distribute power to every section of the port. Substation 3 is going to distribute power to the STS crane. And the reefer gantry is also a new, not really new innovation per se, but for us in Nigeria, this is like a plus for Nigerian ports. Reefer gantry will handle the refrigerated containers, which we refer to as reefer containers. Then this is some of the structures, the gate in and out. Then this picture is opposite our site. The building, the power plant is opposite. It's right there within the Lagos Free Zone. So, and it's on a 1 hectare of land. And as we speak, we can generate 16 megawatts of electricity as I speak. 16. So that's a picture of our ship-to-shore cranes. The booster for the project, because all that we have in the old nation now is a manual handling of cargoes from the shore, from the ship to the shore. So this is the overview of the whole port project. Our breakwater, the longest marine structure now. Then our key wall, the ship-to-shore crane, the rubber tire gantry cranes, the reefers, and our building sections. Now, as at October, we were like 99% 99.5% completion, but now the project has been completed, but not without a punch list. We all know that when we have a project of this phase, there will still be one or two things to adjust. So this will be done within the next 90 days. Our operational readiness. Earlier on, I mentioned that the marine services will be handled by MPA, and this is what we expect to see. When the ship-to-shore crane was brought, it's like a litmus test for MPA, just for us to know how they can handle the marine services. And I must confess that they really did a good job in bringing the vessel to berth. So for the ship-to-shore, the pilot boat, the tugboat will be handled by MPA, the staffing, the operations, the harbor master. We already have one at the moment. All these things will be done by MPA, and the terminal operating systems too will be done by LFT, not MPA. So this is just like a summary of the equipment. We have our equipment to be produced by Lekki Port and operated by LFT. The rubber tire gantries is going to be a 6-container tiers, meaning we are going to start like 1 to 5 containers with one more that can rove on top. Then the width is about 7 inches, and we will be having also 45 tons wrist stackers. And our STS crane has the features to handle twin lift. That is, it can do 140-foot container at a go. And it has also a reach of 21 container wide. This simply means that when containers are stacked side by side, the ship to shore, the boom, can reach up to 21 containers wide. The regulatory agencies that will be within the port are listed there, starting from MPA to NEMASA to Nigerian Police Force, NIDLE. But out of the listed agencies, only 8 are allowed within the port areas. This is just like a pictorial view of how our porter scanner is going to be. Here I need to pause a little because in Apapa and Tinkan, what is being done is a physical check of containers. But at Lekki Port, to increase our efficiency, we are going to do scanning of all the containers so that the rate of physical handling will be very, very minimal. And we also made it in such a way that our custom inspection area is not interfering with the container terminal operations. So we have a section that is barricaded for custom inspection. There we have the OCR scanner, optical character recognition, and the technology we are deploying is that it can scan the content of a container up to the minutest details, something like toothpick. The evacuation management system, because this is where the real deal is. We can have a perfect or near perfect project, but if cargoes are not properly evacuated from the port, we will still be replicating a Apapa syndrome. Now, what we have is, at the moment, the expansion of the road is currently ongoing. I'm still going to show a slide on the road. And for our future plan, we have railway and barges. Fortunately for us, when the president came to the project, he signed into law that the existing railway project should be terminated at Lagos Free Zone. So this has been done already. So all we are expecting now is for government to speed up in their own action. Then for the barges, we have been discussing, we are in discussion with several barging companies so that with barges we can reduce the effect of cargo evacuation on the road. So at the moment, we have the road expansion being done. So I will quickly switch to the road expansion now, because the other two are future plans. Okay. So this is the picture of, from here is like Lekki Phase 1 and down to Eleko. From Eleko Junction down to where the port is located, the road is currently being expanded, and it's going to be a 6-lane dual carriageway. From Eleko to Ekpe, that road has been completed. So when you look at it, upgrading the expansion of Osa, Itokin Road, it has been completed. So all the roads from here down here has been completed. So what we have now is these two roads and the proposed new road that will move cargoes right there from the free zone straight to Ijebu-Ode. But this is a work in progress, because that road will require like 2 bridges to cross these 2 lagoons. But as we speak, almost every other thing concerning the road has been done, except for the road that links from Eleko Junction to port area. And the way it is being done now is that most of these roads are concrete road, reinforced road, other than the asphalt. So I think with this, I've come to the end of my presentation. Thank you very, very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ogundele. You know, I'm sure that he rushed this presentation because I know that our members they must be wondering, how are we going to catch this man? What are we going to say to him? What are the questions we're going to ask him? Number one, the man has admitted that he's not an engineer, so do not ask him engineering. Well, you can ask him engineering questions, but don't expect detailed engineering answers. Number two is that we are lucky in that we had Mrs. Adeyoye here yesterday, who gave us a very detailed presentation on what is going on there regarding the roads. So that should have prepared us for many of the things that he has spoken about. The only other thing, of course, is that he's only spoken about Phase 1. But please be prepared to speak about Phase 2, because you have 45 years in which to do it. Okay. So, having set the background, I'm going to ask people to. Engineer Elias is already putting up his hand. I don't even know how we're going to conduct this. We're going to give Mr. Gudele, say about 5 questions. Please take note of the questions, and then you'll give us one global answer. So, Engineer Elias. And if the questions are too detailed, I'll stop you.
No, it's a general question. I want to know what role or roles did Nigerian engineers played in the planning and implementation of this port, at least the Phase 1. Thank you.
There's a hand up back there. I can't see it properly. I think it's, who is it? Please introduce yourself when you're speaking also. So I can't see too well. A bit dark, yeah.
Yeah, my name is Hawunuga Olutayo. Well, the presentation was really interesting. But for the lead, I'm an M&E person. For the little I know about roads, the road infrastructure in Nigeria seems to be a little bit not too good. Because if you look at it, driving around the city of Abuja, where you have better roads, for Nigeria, for example, the drainages, most times they are not covered. The street lights, Most times they are not well positioned. They don't come up when you want them to come up. The time for them to come up and the time lag. We also have the problem of the width of the roads. If you take, for example, the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, for example, you look at the lanes that are involved, the width of the roads. I've not been to Lekki for a while now, but I'm interested in, because he has talked about the compartment, he has talked about the concreting of the roads, which I think is better. If you drive through the Oshodi-Apapa Road, Apapa Road, you see the concrete is much better than the asphalt. But what is clear is that we need to know what is happening on the Lekki Road. He said this is concrete, but what is the width? And what is the drainage infrastructure? Because the rain is taking over most of the roads. Thank you.
Mr. Agune, when you're going to answer that, you can plead the fifth. Yeah, get the gentleman there.
Thank you very much. My question is simple. One, what is the schedule performance on this phase one? What I mean, how long did you plan it? Did you plan to finish? Did you finish before time or after time? What were the challenges? That's number one. Number two is the power plant you have. What's the fuel for the power plant? What is going to power the station? Thank you.
Is it gas?
Whether it's gas, just whatever it is, let's know what it is. Thank you.
There's a gentleman that, okay. Thank you. Yes.
Well, I think it's the same question I'm having with him. The source of power. He did mention 16 megawatt, and we're interested in knowing reference to the lecture we had yesterday with Doctor. Thank you.
Okay. So, we've had, there are no more hands up. So, Mr. Gundin, over to you.
Thank you. For the first question, the role of Nigerian engineers in the planning and implementation of this project. As a body, I know there are several bodies of engineers, Koren, NICE, Acen. I can't really talk much on what this body did. But prior to my presentation, I mentioned that without the consulting engineers, we wouldn't have finished this project. And why did I say so? There are so many civil works, mechanical, engineering works being done on this project. And as I speak, even for the mere fact that a free zone, you can have 100% expatriate quota in a free zone. This project were done and completed mostly by Nigerians. From Czech down to our own company. Czech is the EPC contractor. Our company is the client, which is Lekki Port. We have several engineers that were part and parcel of this project. And even with the project management consultant, which is Louis Berger, I can mention 2 or 3 names. Civil engineer, I think Philip Okuno, for the mechanical. I can there are about 3 or 4 that I know that are basically engineering professionals that were part of the project. So that is all I can say as per the role of Nigerian engineers. But as a body, I know there are several laws or several things that in this aspect, because I believe more in Nigerian content, despite being operating from free zone. For the roads, sir, I'm glad that you mentioned the Oshodi Apapa. When you move from Oshodi down to Oworonshoki axis, the same grade of road that is being done there, I think, is what is being replicated at this axis, if not more than. Because I happen to stay very close to Bagada. And when you look at this road, I can't give the actual length of the width, but it's the same high-tech that constructed the Oshodi Apapa that is also doing most of this road. So it's like a joint venture between high-tech and Dangote, and I'm sure he's going to enjoy some tax cut or something like that. But the road is being done by the same one you have acknowledged to be good. For the scheduled performance, I'm so glad to mention that despite COVID, we were able to finish this project on time. The project was delivered on time. So how that was done, because it was like a miracle. I remember when COVID struck, some of us were made to stay back at site. We also quickly made some makeshift building so that work would not stop. So I can tell you authoritatively, sir, that we finished the project on time. For the power plant, at the moment, the power plant is made up of, if I want to go into details, we have 8 Caterpillar generators. And the fuel is going to be diesel, but to be optimized into gas. Because as we speak, in Lagos Free Zone, I joined about 10 years ago. We have never been on national grid, and we have been using energy. So in the free zone already, we already have gas to power most of our factory. But because of the nature of the STS, by design, it has been, let me say, the assumption is that the diesel fuel has more stability than the gas. So the moment we kickstart with diesel, over time, it will metamorphose into either diesel or gas, or it's going to be either diesel or gas. But as we are starting, we are starting with gas. I'm also concerned about, we are starting with diesel. I'm also concerned about diesel because of environmental footprint. But everything has been handled. Yes, sir. The phase 2, I like that question, sir. Phase 2 is solely dependent on how the volume of phase 1. And let me add this. The whole of Nigeria, as of today, is doing less than 1 million 20-foot equivalent unit. That's 1 million TEUs of containers per annum. The whole of, whether Apapa, Tinkan, or One, in totality, they are doing between 1 million to 1.5. When we start, we are going to reach up to 1.2 million TEUs. So by the time we reach this volume, then phase 2 we can start.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ogundele. So, at that point, we want to give our guest speaker another big round up because he has performed well. For a man who is not an engineer, he's done very, very well. So thank you very much for coming. And I don't expect that you'll be going back to the office today. Please go home, okay? Yeah, stay with us and have lunch, and then you can go. And at that point, can I hand over the microphone to our MC. The MC is putting on her shoes. She's taking them. It's always intriguing about how women take their shoes off. You know, you're going to church and all of a sudden you go.
Thank you, sir. Please, let's put our hands together again for Mr. Ogundele. Adura Yemi Ayodeji. Thank you for giving us your time and your experience. So we would like to call on our Acen President, Engineer F. Ajibadeoke, to come and present to our guest speaker the award plaque. Thank you.
Mr. Ogundele, let's apologize that you couldn't fly to this place. Next time we provide an helicopter. But we understand the stress which you went through. Yeah, we understand the stress you went through, and that you are even constantly updating us on where you are. Makes us feel. You said you are not an engineer. Thank God you are not. Because if you are an engineer, you'll have done much, much better than what you are doing. You have done fantastically well. You seem to get the grasp of what everything is all about. That's so. If you become an engineer, you'll be like Alisobu. They said Alisobu, you're picking fine. Say I never bath farm. If you bath farm, unko. So please come over. I'm sure we all enjoy the paper, and it's a very good thing. You gave us a little bit of something to rely upon. You give a little bit of hope that things are moving in the proper direction in some aspects of the country. And we congratulate you. We congratulate your company, and the way you are brought up, all of you, it seems that you have an idea of whatever is happening in that place. So there was nothing that has been hidden from you. So we are very grateful for your presentation. So on behalf of our association, the Association for Consulting Engineering in Nigeria, we present this to you for a very wonderful presentation. Thank you very much. May God bless you.
Thank you.
My Oga, at the top, please present yourself. I know, I was your treasurer. So I understand. I must respect. God knows the number of plaques you have received from Acen. And I know you also receive a lot of plaques from Rotary. I know you receive a lot of plaques from all other engineering something. But because I'm the one presenting this you must take it and put it on the priority list. I'm coming to your office, in that office where you always face the computer. I will come and I want to see it. So my past president, on behalf of the people you know, I present this plaque to you for successfully piloting us through this paper. Thank you very much. Can I sit down? Huh?
Okay, so I think we'll be you the AG.
Okay. We're fast coming to the end of the 2022 AGM. I said we're fast coming to the end. right, sir. So at this juncture, we would like to say thank you to our partners and corporate sponsors. They have really shown us a lot of support, and we value their coming and their support. So like right now, we'd like to say thank you to VAC Technical Limited. We have two sponsors this year, VAC Technical Limited and LG Electronics. VACC. VACC Technical Limited. Please. Our second partner for this year is LG Electronics. And this year we have 4 corporate sponsors. Okay. The first one being Levi Holdings Limited. Thank you very much for your support. We also have safety consultants, solution providers. Safety consultants and solution providers. JMG Limited. Ask the president. Okay, first of all, I'd like to introduce Engineer Olukoya Babatunde, the Chairman, 2022 AGM Planning Committee. Engineer Elizabeth Olaogun. Engineer Uchenna Unyaya. Engineer Chris Ene. Engineer Kainde Adebara. Engineer Adedotun Adeshino. Engineer Ashedu Emenenjo Daniel. And Engineer Kalejai Sunday. And now I would like to request that the President of the Association for Consulting Engineering in Nigeria please come to appreciate them and give them their award of plaques.
These are the ladies and gentlemen. Lady and gentlemen that brought us all here. I think we appreciate that they've done a good job. Please, let's appreciate it for them. I specifically noticed the way my doyen and past president, they are like clapped. I've never seen them clapping so heartily. So that means we have done a hearty job. But I feel a little bit, no, you see, I was also a member of this thing. I was following them all through. It's only that I don't talk to them. Anything I have, I talk to the MD, except when I wanted to congratulate you. I've done. So, congratulations and well done. You've done a good job, right? There's nothing that we cannot improve upon. There's improvements that we have to do. But then, I must say, and to believe that they put this thing on within 4 weeks, within 7 weeks. Normally, we always give about 5-6 months. Yeah, thank God that they didn't allow my fault to show. So thank you very much for not showing my fault. Thank you very much. So it's about 6 weeks. So I will start. Yes, starting with the chairman. Now, this is the time for me to go Ibadan. Chairman, thank you very much. It's very good job. What do we do? Okay. So I will be constantly here. The next. The lady amongst us. You know, one thing they did. They all work so hard. They were having meetings twice, 3 times, sometimes in the week. I couldn't even cope with reading what they are doing. So, thank you very much. And all your present, all the things that you went to, including Leki's report, we understand it. Thank you very much. God bless. Oh. Chief, I always call him Chief. Chief Chris Ene. Oh, so you don't know that your name is so close to Chief. So you have done very, very well. Thank you. Thank you. Take it up. Mm-hmm. Well done, my Chief. I'm sorry, I'm not in a position to give this one. Because I know him too much, and he will think that, Kainde Adebara, can you please come over? Yes, but I've known him for a long time. So that's why I shouldn't really be giving you this. Who else? Adedotun Adeshina. Double Ade. So, well done. Thank you very much for a job well done. Thank you so plenty. Excuse me. I belong to a club. When they said propose a toast, they first of all normally propose a toast for themselves. And when you say why are they doing that, they say if you don't praise yourself, nobody will praise you. I praise my MD. Please come in. Everybody knows what this man wants to do. He does it well. Congratulations. There is one still missing. There is one missing. The one for the president. Nicole, I beg. Okay. So everybody, show your marks. This time I'm going to be in the middle. I'll be the only one that doesn't have. Yes, sir. I have the mic. Yes. Okay.
I want to join the
escort. No wonder they know how to persuade people from this Lekki deep ones. He has joined us. He's now a member of Acen. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, who is announcing? Doing, what is the...
Okay, so it's lunchtime now. Please let's have the past presidents come up first.
Distinguished delegates, at this point we would like to request that we have a lunch, after which we will continue with the AGM. Thank you.
We are going to have lunch now, and after that, we'll continue with the AGM. Yes. Please, let's have the first table